Just one point I would like to mention here is very interesting, is that consider the salah itself. The salah from beginning to end, okay, is made up of cycles and repetitions. Okay, cycles and repetitions. And there is something symbolic about the cyclical nature of the prayer through one cycle, and then the fact that it is repeated, yeah, that somehow resembles, okay, a lot of what is going on out there in terms of processes and in terms of the natural order, as we would call it, right, that's going on even within ourselves. Yeah, so look at our digestive systems, right? There's a cycle, right, and there's a repetition. We don't complain about the fact that there is a cycle and that it repeats itself. We need that to happen. We need the water cycle to work in the way that the water cycle works. Yeah, we need the earth to keep spinning at a certain rate and in the way that it rotates around the sun, and all of that in its rotation, in its orbit. So everything else out there in its sajda, in its salah, if you like, is cycling through or going through a particular order, a particular set cycle, and repeating that cycle. And so for human beings, even though, as I was just finishing a class this morning, and when you reflect on it, your 5 daily prayers, from beginning to end, right, you look at the time that's required. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is not asking us, because there's only 5, right? It was originally, maybe we'll cover this later next time perhaps, okay, originally 50 prayers in the day and night were ordained. 50. Now the reflection for us should be, well, if it was 50 in the day and night, that wouldn't have been too much for Allah to ask from us. It is as if salah is why we are here. Like, it's not a sideshow, right? We really need to shift our perspective to understand that as human beings, you are on earth literally to show whether you can pray. Yeah, will you pray? That's pretty much this, you might think that's overly simplified, but that is the central point of human existence. Okay, are you going to do your salah, do your tasbih, okay, do your tahmeed, right, and fit into or align with everything else that is out there? Or aren't you? Are you going to be arrogant and rebel and forget and be heedless? Okay, so it could have been 50. It could have been 50 prayers, but no, it's just 5. So 5 is like, it might take us anyway, minimum, 20 to 30 minutes a day, up to an hour, say even an hour and a half, say even 2 hours. Okay, you congregationally, you're driving there and back and everything else. So you're not right now because you are in lockdown and you are social distancing and your mosque is closed. But normally speaking, right, let's just say even takes 2 hours a day. What's 2 hours out of 24? Yeah, 1/12, 8 and a bit %. Okay, what if it was half an hour, right, out of 24, 1/48? Yeah, just over 2%. Still single-digit percentage of our time. Allah has blessed us with time, and just a single-digit percentage of our time is what Allah is asking us to give or to offer in prayer. Everything else is cycling constantly. Angels are constantly glorifying Him, constantly engaged in prostration. Some of them, and everything else that is out there, Allah refers to, is in a constant state of salah and tasbih. And so when we are, the final point I would like to make here, maybe before taking some questions, is that when we are engaged in prayer, engaged in salah, then you really are tapping into and aligning with the order of things, the natural order. And so maybe a key practical reflection for us at this point is the following, is that if we feel in praying that we're breaking our routine, yeah, and we are kind of inserting something on the side to what the main thrust or the goal of our life or our day is, it seems somewhat problematic. Like from an attitude perspective, yes, salah might be the disruptor, but for the one who maybe isn't so much looking forward to it, or their mind is elsewhere or what have you, yeah, so it becomes a disruptor and it plays that function. But in principle, it's the salah that we're here for, a priori, as they say, before you layer anything else on in terms of your responsibilities, your duties, your work, your family, your ABC, whatever. First and foremost, show that you're a worshipper of God and a submitter to God and someone who prostrates to Him. And then in and around that, okay, right, I'll insert a bit of work, get some money so I can, feed my family. I will, spend some time entertaining myself, right? Socialize, do some other good works here, there, what have you, right? Salah is the center point. Let us not underestimate and forget the uh, the title of this course, right? The key to paradise. Literally, I mean, it is the key. Okay, if the teeth of this key are aligned, okay, and in the right order, then you put the key in the door. You put the key in the door will open, right? And so you might have a key. You might have some salah, but it's not just any key. Like it needs to be a properly honed salah key, right? Like a high security lock, perhaps, right? It needs to be done in a certain way, managed in a certain way. And it is the first thing that Allah will ask us about on the Day of Judgment. You know, just imagine you're arriving for your account. The very first thing. Yeah, were you a good person? Did you speak nice words? Did you give charity? You know, did you look after your parents? Blah, blah, blah. All of this stuff. All excellent, all good. Inshallah, all will be there on our account. But number one, tell me, Allah will say, my servant, what is the state of your salah? The state of your prayer? That's the number one issue, the number one question. And therefore, it is no exaggeration to say that after we acknowledge the oneness of God and we say La ilaha illallah, there is no single more important matter, okay, than or action than the prayer itself. Okay, amongst the dying words of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam were as-salah, as-salah, in a plea to his ummah, to his nation, that don't leave this, don't forget this. And we will see Ibrahim, his forefather, was the same. Okay, his concern for the prayer and the fact that prayer, salah, would continue was his central concern, And so to close or conclude this part, we can take great comfort and we can take a lot of encouragement, I would say, and it certainly, hopefully, expands your perspective that when you stand to pray, you know, zoom out of yourself and realize that you are literally aligning with anything and everything that is out there in worship of the one true creator of everything that exists. Okay, so that's prayer as a universal phenomenon. How did you find that? I hope it was useful. If so, hit the like button, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel.